These are the highlights of India's smartest podcast, The Ranveer Show. Welcome to TRS Clips. Make sure you hit that bell icon and don't forget to subscribe.
But when we are meditating or studying spiritual practices, something that fascinates me a lot, just in the world of spiritual studies, and this isn't spoken about too much on the internet, is the slightly hatke side of spiritual stuff. So by that I mean the sci-fi like things we read about, and these are questions we get a lot: astral projections, out of body experiences, the soul's journey after death, heaven and hell, these concepts which are written about in stories. But I'd actually like to know whatever your perspective is on any of these. Maybe I'll begin with a simple question which a lot of people wish to know. What are ghosts?
So as far as ghosts are concerned, the Bhagavad Gita speaks about 3 levels of existence. One is the soul within. Then the second is the subtle body called mind, intelligence and ego. Above that is the gross body consisting of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So these 8 elements, 5 gross, earth, water, fire, air, ether, gross elements, gross body, subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego, and the soul within. So the soul is trapped within this. So when the soul leaves the body, the gross body is left behind, but the subtle body carries the soul to the next body. Tatha dehantara praptir. So sometimes when someone has misused their gross body, or as per their karma, they still have some time before a gross body can be allotted.
Like accidental death or...
Yeah, there could be various reasons for that. I can only say one thing, that if you have defaulted, in a particular way in some job, and then it's a red mark, so then you spend time unemployed, because wherever you go, they see that record and you don't get employment so easily. So like that, if there has been a misuse of the body in certain way in terms of especially, hurting oneself on one's own and things like that. And there are various causes are given in the Garuda Puran, especially if you want a detailed description. Especially the journey post-death is described in great detail in the Garuda Puran. So then that subtle body with that soul is traveling around and looking for a vehicle. So then they enter into these different bodies and possess them. And that's what the concept of ghost is all about.
When you say subtle bodies, is it the same as saying astral bodies?
So subtle body in Sanskrit is known as Sukshma Deha. So right now, what the modern scientists are referring to as astral bodies from other, places, universes, and, coming like that. So there could be bodies made out of fire and ether and things like that in other planes. That is the astral body. But here, the subtle body is the body of mind, intelligence, and ego, covering every soul. So these are a lot of fascinating details described in the Bhagavad Gita. And as I said, basically tourism industry is quite famous. India is pre-COVID got 11 million tourists, and Northern Ireland got 5 million tourists with only 1 million population. So people love traveling. So the Gita describes about all the planetary systems in which that travel is possible, depending on your preference, where you want to go, how you want to go.
Wow.
So the whole fundamental basis of Bhagavad Gita is the only possession you and me possess is our desire and intention. And that is referred to as Swatantrata Ratna, the jewel of our free will. And depending on how we decide to use that or abuse that, we are rewarded and punished accordingly. So all spiritual practitioners are focused on intensifying their intention. That's the bottom line of spirituality. Intensify your intention. And that's the bottom line even for someone who wants to become, materially successful. As you quoted so many examples. You have an intention. The difference between success and not so successful is that the intention was not so intense. So it did not result in practice. It did not result in action. So therefore, when we intensify our intention to be a servant of the Supreme and be self-disciplined and practice it and share our compassion with others, then automatically we experience that transformation. So various levels of subtlety are experienced depending on what level you want to access.